Hello, Mojoholics. I'm Rebecca Brayton, and with me, as always, is resident movie reviewer Eric Cohen, and welcome to Mojo at the Movies. We're going to make you very jealous right now because we were lucky enough to see Star Wars before you did.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. But you'll all get to see it soon enough, right?
Yeah.
Comes out on Friday. We got to see an advanced screening. We're a little bit giddy because it's pretty exciting, actually. You get to see a new Star Wars. We're like, some of the, not many people got to see it today.
Yeah.
And we're here to bring you guys the news as to what it's like.
Yes, and I think the first thing we really picked up on after we got out of the movie was that it was kind of a passing of the torch movie.
Absolutely. I mean, not just directorially, because, of course, it's no longer J.J. Abrams in the director's chair. It's Rian Johnson, who we know from the movie Brick and Looper. So a bit of a weird choice, actually, if you think about it, as to who directs the next Star Wars movie. But it seemed quite seamless. I mean, the tone didn't change. It didn't feel like it was co-opted by some other force.
Exactly.
So I get the sense that we passed the torch from one director to another, but also in terms of the characters and the setting. I mean, it's a new generation of Star Wars that started again with The Force Awakens, and then we're kind of. It's like The Force Awakens was the reignition of Star Wars, and this one is continuing that flame. So it's, in some ways, hard to get as excited as you did with The Force Awakens, because I remember when I saw that, I was like, yes, they did it! I was so worried that they wouldn't be able to get it right. And so I was less worried this time around because, I know that in Disney's hands, and J.J. Abrams is still involved to some extent, they didn't screw it up like they screwed up the prequels. There, I said it, okay? if I know that sometimes we've gotten flack in some of our lists for saying that the prequels weren't so great, but I mean, as someone who grew up with the original Star Wars, yeah. Well, I don't know, where do you stand on
the prequels?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Okay.
The sand line, I can't get over it.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating.
So what they did here is they passed the torch and they developed it more. I feel that this movie was more about a development of characters.
Yes.
So I mean,
And a lot of great characters.
Yeah. Your favorites?
Okay, so I love Poe Dameron, but I wish I'd seen more of him in this movie and maybe a bit more of an arc for him.
Yeah, well, he is, I think he's the kind of Han Solo 2.0.
Yeah, for sure.
And there are some great lines that he has, some great exchanges. Rey, I think in many ways this is Rey's movie.
Agreed.
Again, we can't go too much in detail because we don't want to give any spoilers. So what we can say is that Rey is developed further, but there still is an air of mystery to her. Where there's still things that we're not certain of with regards to Rey, but we get to know her that much more.
Yes.
Kylo Ren. What did you think of Kylo in this one?
Kylo, I mean, I always thought of him as kind of like a bratty teen who was just kind of emo and like, he wears his hair to the side and he's like, I'm so upset about my parents.
Right.
I got less of that. It seemed like a more concrete internal struggle from him this time. So that, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think in the first one, there's hints of how he struggles with the dark and the light, and in this movie, that struggle seems that much more electrifying. There's also, of course, it was so nice to see Carrie Fisher, and in fact, the movie is dedicated to Princess Leia. And of course, this is not a spoiler. I think if you don't know that Luke Skywalker is back, then you've been living under a rock.
Yeah.
So
in Ireland somewhere, apparently.
In Ireland somewhere, right? Exactly, with the porks. But no, it's nice to see everyone back together, and it's hard to get overexcited the way I did personally with The Force Awakens. But I really feel that they did it right, and we're kind of on to the next. What's going to happen next?
Well, yeah, but we had a new character who kind of was paired up with Finn.
Right.
Can we name her?
I think we could say that there's a new character named Rose. Rose is very cool.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cool new creatures too.
Yes.
So not just the porgs.
No, not just the porgs.
The crystal creatures.
Crystal foxes.
Foxes.
Yeah, they're just really cool.
Yeah.
They just look like diamonds running away.
And the sense of humor. I mean, I think that's also what sets this movie apart, not only from Rogue One, but especially from the prequels, is that there is There are a lot of laughs in this movie. I mean, we talked about Poe before, and he has this amazing exchange with Gleason.
Yeah, Donald Gleason, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Who's also, again, as ridiculously
He's
over the top.
over the top in that kind of, you know, British rolling your R's kind of way, but I loved it.
Now, one thing that they did a lot in this movie that I appreciated was there was a lot of bait and switch. So you kind of got the feeling, oh, I know where they're going with this. Oh, I've now figured out that backstory, and then it was all, you know, it was just an illusion to take you that way, and yet they actually went this way. And so, you know, there was a lot of misdirection.
A lot of that.
In the direction.
Yes.
So, you know, they were using these kind of magic techniques to really kind of create a sense that we know what's going on, and then taking us directly the other way. I was a big fan of that. So ultimately, this is a Star Wars movie, and it's a Star Wars movie done right. And what do you expect from Star Wars movies? You want to see those incredible fight scenes. You want to see the lightsabers. You want to see the special effects. They don't skimp on any of those. I will, if I have one small complaint, and you may find I'm a bit of a stickler when I say this, some of those kind of transitions that they use, the wipes and the old school 70s storytelling techniques that would go from one scene to another, those were a little bit missing. But I mean, you know, on the whole, that's really the most minute element. What you did get was a ton of climaxes.
Yes, you kept thinking the movie was over, and then it just kept going.
But not in a bad way.
No, not in a bad way.
No, and in fact, you know, that final battle scene, which, you know, we see in the trailer, you know, again, no spoilers, but that kind of red sand going everywhere was just so spectacular. And the way they took the characters to their various places, I'm excited to see more. I think, you know, I'm very excited to see the next movie. I'm very excited to talk about this movie, but there's not much more we can say.
I know. We've been talking about it all day, so I guess we'll continue.
And we also don't want to give any spoilers. So, you know, ultimately go out and see this movie.
And then we can talk about it.
Yeah, and then tell us your thoughts in the comments.
Enjoy. See you next time.
What do you see? Light. Darkness.
This is not going to go the way you think.
Kylo found you. I won't.
Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo and subscribe for new videos every day.